the referee just looked at the coach and held up his hands at about 8 inches. And he's telling him that you guys missed it by less than a foot.
It's always interesting because when you're up here in the booth, you got that sort of angle where you can't really tell if it's good or not. And from our angle, it looked like it was right down the middle, but obviously we weren't underneath the field goal. But tough break for NAIA, huge break for Division II, and a turnover, inside the red zone on their last drive, and then the missed field goal here. You don't want to say it or think it, but they're kind of starting to give the game away a little bit here because they can't seem to sustain a drive and they put points on the board. Big hit.
And then a massive defensive effort after a pickup of just a yard.
Number 95 on the tackle. I don't want to butcher his name.
What you say, number 95 on the tackle? That would be Penisoni Tuifua.
That's why I didn't want to try it. That's why I let
Penisoni
you do it.
Tuifua, defensive tackle out of Montana Western, 6 foot tall, 225-pounder. So, 2nd down and 9, ball on the 21-yard line. 4th period of action, 10:41 to go in this game. A very close contest now as Division II has an opportunity to tie us. Here comes pressure on the outside. Hit, sacked, and wrapped up. Nice defensive pressure and a good sack out there by the NAIA, Sam Guillaume. And we got an injured player down on the field.
That's just good defense, JT. That's perseverance. You can get into the quarterback and make a play.
And we've been really fortunate and blessed so far in this contest to avoid some injuries, but now we really have the first timeout for an injury on the field. And with that, we will take a timeout as well. We'll be back after this. You're logged on to the Amateur Sports Network. Welcome back to action. John Thomas, Gideon Anderson, Tim Fry in booth, Dave Graham down the sidelines, Liz Thomas on our main camera. 10:18 to go in this final period of action here in the inaugural NAIA versus Division II Senior Classic. This is a 3rd down and 11. D2 trails by a touchdown here. They need to get something going. Here's a high pass in and out of the hands. Attempting to make a one-handed snag that time was the wide receiver, Trevor Kennedy out of Mercyhurst. Is unable to do so, so now Gideon 4th down and 12 to obviously punt situation. NAIA really, definitely not enough time to run the clock out, so to say, but with a score would make this game almost difficult and almost impossible for D2 to really get a sustained comeback.
Yeah, absolutely. If they, I believe now, if they score, then this pretty much puts it away. That's why D2, they don't have to panic yet. There's still a lot of time on the clock, 10 minutes left. But no panic needs to be in the minds of D2 right now. They just got to play good defense and hopefully get their offense back on the field.
Excellent starting field position now for NAIA. Ball at the 45-yard line of D2.
So NAIA's had a couple tough breaks. Had the turnover, the fumble, and then the missed field goal attempt. So 2 opportunities wasted on the turnover and a close call on the field goal, but this could be a lot worse than what it is. So D2 is going to have to step up and play some good defense here because they're on their side of the field starting off already.
Any ideas that this was merely an exhibition game are probably out the window at this juncture, Gideon. Both of these teams obvious after the goal line stance, the defensive effort earlier in the last period, and some of the reactions that we see on the sidelines. This is a game that both teams want to win at this juncture. Yes, some of these players understand that there's pro scouts here, but now as a team, it doesn't matter. It's time to win the game.
Absolutely. And quarterback Chris Ware goes out and to be a wide receiver, they're going to run a little read draw here. But like you were saying, it's just one of those deals where. Well, wait, what were you saying, JT?
I was saying that it's out of the window now of just the personal performance highlights.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're playing as a team.
Yeah.
Both these guys want to win now. I think coaches are into it. I think the assistants are into it. You can tell by the reactions on the sideline with good play, bad play. These guys want to win.
Oh, yeah. And you could tell that from last night. You could tell that from since the day we got here that that these players want to win. This might be an all-star game, but the mentality is, hey, I want to win and I want to do the best that I can because there's scouts in the stands. They're checking me out, and I got to play to the best of my ability.
2nd down and 7. Ball on the 41, moving right to left is NAIA under center. Handoff. No, he's got a man deep down the middle. Caught, touchdown, NAIA, Bo Daly. The wide receiver / quarterback out of Kentucky Christian gets a perfect pass from Chris Ware on the run as Daly goes up high, pulls the ball down, keeps it in his possession, and gets into the end zone for 6 points.
How about the fake from Chris Ware? I mean, even both of us thought that it was going to be a run play, and just a great fake, great route. You know, like you just mentioned, quarterback, running back, and George St. Lawrence mentioned earlier that he was a quarterback for 3 years. That wide receiver, and to come in here and play in the All-Star game as a wide receiver after playing quarterback for so long, that's really impressive.
Extra point pending. Here's the snap, the placement, the kick is up, and the kick is good. We'll be back after this. You're logged on to the Amateur Sports Network, a 28-14 lead for NAIA. Back to action. We apologize. We missed that play on our camera, but it was a beautiful strike downfield. And here's an excellent, oh my goodness, a head of steam was absolutely headed off by Ruel Wilson out of Edward Waters. A defensive lineman absolutely blew up the returnman.
Wow.
Ouch.
Wow, yeah, that's a big hit. That's how you're supposed to play kickoff. You go down there, you run your lane, you do your responsibility, and you unload, and that's exactly what he did. And just absolutely laid the wood. Very impressive special teams play. It's going to be 1st down here. For D2, they got a lot riding on this drive here. If they don't score here, you can't really expect them to do much more. There's not much time left. Back to pass.
Looking deep down the left sideline. He's got a man complete.
So he's going to have a completion. That's big for D2 to get. They got to get some sort of momentum going. They got to get something going on this drive. 8 minutes, 33 seconds remaining in this ball game. Down 28-14. They've got to get something going, and they've got a good start thus far.
Defensive holding is declined. First down.
So the penalty on NAIA is going to be declined.
Check your video connector on the right-hand side of the camera.
So D2 will have the ball on the 35-yard line of the NAIA. Kevin Lynch in shotgun formation, 1 back, 3 wide receivers to his left, 1 to his right. He looks to his right. He's going to throw it out in the flat to his running back. He's going to make a man miss. He's going to go up to about the 28-yard line. Is number 34, Michael Nossinger, the Ohio Dominican running back, 5'8", 160-pounder.
Getting with 8:05 to go. I mean, definitely with your moving the ball like this, if you're D2, you do stand a chance.
Oh, absolutely, and there's plenty of time. They don't have to panic just yet. I mean, it's getting close, but they're on a good drive. If they can get it here, get a touchdown punched in, they can be right back in this game. No worries, but they got to get one here.
Trips to the left, single wide receiver to the right. Lynch back to pass. Has a man on the near sideline. Caught, complete at the 10-yard line, and an excellent reception.
That's close. That's a great catch. That's a great throw. That's a gutsy throw, JT. That could have been intercepted. But when you're at this point, down 14 points with 7 minutes left, you've got to take chances, and that's exactly what they did.
A little bit grainy there on our instant replay, but the ref was right there, and it definitely looks like there was a foot in bounds. But when it's that grainy, it's really difficult to tell, but the ref was right on top of it. Here's a handoff the left side.
He's going to go in.
He is. Touchdown. Division II, Michael Knopfsinger out of Ohio Dominican on an excellent run.
That's how you do it, JT, and that's how you bounce back. NAIA went down and scored, and D2 just bounced right back, came down and scored their own touchdown. So 28-21 pending the extra point, and they're right back in it. Plenty of time, play some more defense, make some good special teams plays, and get the ball back, get your offense back on the field.
Definitely a nice offensive series with very little time coming off of that clock, getting 7:13 to go now in the fourth period. With the score makes it 28-20, extra point, or excuse me, yes, 28-20 with the extra point pending. Here's the snap, placement down, almost blocked. The kick is up and good.
If this game comes down to a field goal for D2, JT, I'm a little shaky on their protection. That's almost the second one that's been blocked. So,
and you say if it comes down to a field goal, keep in mind there was a missed field goal over here by the NAIA as well. So definitely special teams has bit both teams here today.
More D2 than NAIA.
Absolutely.
Yep. I mean, this game would probably be a lot different if those two huge special teams plays didn't occur, but they did, and that's part of the game too. And a lot of people, tend to forget that it's just special teams, but it's absolutely crucial to be flawless on special teams. And
nice blocking out there by the wide receiver on that play as well to help open up some space for that touchdown. So 7:13 to go in this contest, a 28-21 lead for NAIA as they are just holding on. Are the NAIA right now. They're going to get the ball back here with 7:13 to go. The ebb and flow of this game has been very obvious. A slow start for both to begin, and then a flurry of special teams mistakes and successes for the NAIA, or I should say capitalizing off some mistakes on special teams for the NAIA. Now the return out to the 25-yard line, tripped up out near the 40-yard line, and taken down there. NAIA will have the ball. First down and 10.
This is a big drive, JT, for both teams, because NAIA, if they put another touchdown up, you got to kind of wonder if D2 can come back and tie this game down 14 points. But if NAIA stalls and has to give the ball back up to NCAA or the Division II team, then we could be seeing a really close game here towards the end.
7:06 to go, 28-21. Still in the game at quarterback, and Chris Ware. I'm a little bit surprised that both coaches have had their starting quarterbacks in here the entire game. We've seen this is the third time we've seen Ware split out into the slot to go to the Wildcat, and Frank Wolf will take the snap. Handoff, trying to cut the corner, but taken down in the backfield. We haven't seen or heard Luke Black's number or name said in a while, but Luke Black was able to get outside, maintain containment, and bring down the running back.
Good play right there. Like I said earlier, he hasn't really had his name called the second half after really wreaking havoc in the first, especially in the first quarter. But good play right there, and that's second down and 10 here, so it's going to put them in a second down and long, and have to have them pass the ball.
Second and 10. They're going to go with Kirkland Davidson still. Excuse me, I'm sorry. They're going to go with Frank Wolf still at the quarterback position. Wolf this time is going to keep it. He's trying to get outside with his speed. He's got some room. Oh, he loses the ball. It's kicked out. He's able to at least keep possession on the side of NAIA.
That would have just been an absolute disaster for the NAIA to get such a good run, and to have a turnover at that juncture would have just been a nightmare for them. But luckily, able to fall on it and retain possession.
And look at the speed here. Quarterback
wasn't bad defense. He's just so fast.
Oh, and wildly fast.
But tough break there for D2. They could have had another turnover there.
Yep, defense did a good job sticking their arm out, knocking that ball out of the ball carrier's hands. Ware back under center. He's going to roll out. He's being chased. He lets go of one on the far sideline. off the chest of the intended wide receiver on the far side of the field.
Number 4, I believe.
Yep, that was intended for Sam Charles out of Edward Waters.
And that's one of those instances, JT, where you got to use your hands to catch the ball. He tried to let that get into his chest, bounced off his shoulder pads. He didn't catch it with his hands. You got to bring that in. Get your hands out in front and catch that ball with your hands and not with your shoulder pads, and that's exactly why he dropped that ball.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I mean, when it does hit you in the hands, you got that soft palate of your palm to hold it in, but man, it hits that hard plastic.
He tried to cradle it instead of instead of try to catch it, so it bounced right off his chest. So that would have been a first down and moved the chains, but tough break for NAIA.
Twins left and right for the NAIA seniors here in the Classic in Middletown, New York. Pressure coming off the end. Oh, Ware gets pulled down and manhandled down to the ground.
Petillon, linebacker, Southern Connecticut State. I think George St. Lawrence was mentioning him earlier. Very impressive player, one of the top defensive players in his conference. So very big defensive play right there. That sets up a 3rd down and long. So really got to buckle down here on defense for D2 to get this ball back. 5 minutes left in the game. They got to get the ball back and put another touchdown on this board and tie it up.
28-21, still a 7-point lead here for NAIA. Trips to the right, single wide receiver to the left. Glad to have you along here on the Amateur Sports Network, ASPN.WS. Ware back to pass, being pressured, is going to step up, looking to throw it. Let's go, one downfield. He's got a wide receiver. It's tipped. Nice defense out there by Division II's defensive back. I believe that's number 44, Brandon McElwee. That sets up 4th down and 11. This is going to be some serious put up or shut up time for the NAIA defense and as well the Division II offense. This is pretty much, this next drive is going to come close to determining this game, Gideon.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kevin Lynch, the quarterback for D2, has to really step up on this drive. This has to be his best drive of the game. Obviously, they have to score, or like you said, time is running out. There's only 4 minutes 49 seconds remaining. You got to have something here, either on this special teams play or on offense, to get you back into the game.
Here's the punt. It's a wobbly punt. It's going to take a bounce inside the 10-yard line, letting it roll and downing at the 6.
It's going to be tough.
And good job out there letting it roll, and nice coverage by A.J. Pfeiffer. Gideon, when other people disappoint me, it's tough, but when I disappoint myself, it's even tougher. I wish, as a football commentator and as analyst, we could do a lot better job of highlighting the work of offensive and defensive linemen. You hear it so many times that these games are won in the trenches, and we've seen a lot of one-to-one matchups here offensively with wide receivers and D-backs and the speed of the running backs and the arms of the quarterbacks. But one thing that often goes overlooked is just the sheer importance and the athleticism and the skill of these offensive linemen, which I think today have been outstanding.
So true, and they work just as hard, if not harder, than anyone on the team. And, they're down there, and if you don't get a push from your offensive line, you're not going to be successful. And if your offensive line isn't, as a unit, on the same page, you're going to get sacked. You're going to get tackles for loss. I mean, offensive line is absolutely crucial to a good football team's success.
Well, and we're going to denote some of these offensive linemen as we wrap up this game. Right here for the Division II, they're now faced with a 2nd down and 9, moving left to right, backed up inside their own 10-yard line. Back to pass, looking right, has a man wide open, caught at the 15, angling toward the near sideline. They're going to keep him in play, and they're going to hurry up to the line of scrimmage.
Good play right there. Just get the ball to the man on the outside and try to make a play, pick up the first down. That's the most important thing, is to keep the chains moving right now. So, good play right there by D2.
Now offensive lineman Daryl Kurtz out of Bloomsburg here for Division II. Also Reed Meter out of Hillsdale. And Paul Skarka out of American International in the game.
Kevin Lynch is going to dump it down to his running back. Going to make a man miss, but he brought down by number 14. Sam Gillamy from Evangel University in Springfield, Missouri.
Also, Larry Wright out of West Liberty on the offensive tackle, and Michael Wormley out of Southwest Baptist, all doing a stand-up job here today offensively on the line for D2. Here's a run off the right side, pickup of a minimal amount for Rashad Slowly.
Kind of wonder what the game plan is on that call, JT. I don't know if they were trying to catch the NAIA off guard with that run, but 2 minutes 50 seconds remaining, second down and 7 or 8. I don't think you really want to try to run the ball because that just slows everything up and keeps the clock moving. So, kind of wonder about that play call, but I'm not the coach.
Well, they did show very good resilience coming down their last offensive drive to score very quickly. Here's a dump off again to Slowly. He's got enough for a first down. He's taken down low. Tackle on the play by NAIA's Cody Kilthau.
That's a good play right there. He's being pressured. He's got a man in his face, dumps it down to his running back, keeps this drive alive, and gets that first down for the D2 team.
Well, there's a lot of clock has come off of this, or a lot of times come off the clock, and they're still only at the 32-yard line. It is Division II, moving left to right, twins left, twins right, back to pass, looking for something out there, and he's got a wide receiver who's going to go down at the 39-yard line. That's going to set up a 2nd down and 3, a pickup of 7.
Not a bad pickup for a quarterback scramble, but that, like you said, that clock keeps moving. 1 minute 45 seconds remain. You got to get something going here. Get out of bounds.
Lynch is going for it all this time. He's got a man on the far sideline. Caught him with his shoulder down inside the 20-yard line. And there you see D2's ability to quick strike. And now the time has become a non-factor as they pick up about 47 yards on a throw.
Charles Johnson uses his speed and athleticism to get behind the defensive back. And look at this throw. Perfect throw. You can't make a better throw than that. Right over his shoulder, right into his chest. Just amazing catch and throw from Charles Johnson and Kevin Lynch. That could be one of the biggest plays of this game thus far.
Oh, you betcha. Under center, handoff slowly. Up the middle, picks up about 4 or 5. The clock at 1:13. 3 timeouts left for the NAIA, just 1 left for Division II.
Like I said right there, don't know if they're trying to catch him off guard after the big play, but maybe they want to score and leave less time for the NAIA, but we'll see what happens.
High snap, here comes the pressure, absolutely eaten up on the sack. Coming off the corner was Zach Taskargi.
Huge sack, and that's my KCAC representative right there, JT, and that's huge for the NAIA. That makes them, that forces them to use that final timeout. Sets them up on a 3rd and 6 instead of, I believe it was a 3rd and 1. Loses 5 or 6 yards there. It's just a huge sack there for the NAIA.
Out of Southwestern College, and that was the Jinx, right?
Something like that. Yeah. I can't remember what they're called. But yeah,
that's what they call themselves, the Jinx. That's their little black cat is their little mascot. Anywhere you're at, you see that. And we're going to listen in on the coach.
Right now, they have to score a touchdown. All right, bottom line, we got to keep them out of the end zone. If we stop them on 3rd and 4th down, guys, we win the ball game. All right, let's go. Hey, listen. Hey, remember, tackle them. All right, tackle them in bounds. They have no more timeouts. We're going under cover 1. All right,
Under cover 1 is the defense they're going to choose here, Gideon. And you heard the coach say it. They beat them on 3rd and 4th down here. They win the game, and that's what it's come down to. The back and forth all through the game, the difficulty for both, the lead changes, everything that's gone on. This game with 52.5 seconds remaining comes down to 2 plays, 3rd and 4th down.
Absolutely, and what's unfortunate for D2 is that it's 3rd down and 14. Huge sack to end, on that last play to set. NAI has a great opportunity here to put this game away.
There's the reception that got him down there.
Fantastic catch.
Fantastic throw as well. And then the big sack by Zach Tazkargi out of Southwestern College in Kansas. So here we go, 3rd down and 14, ball on the 22-yard line. Running out of opportunities to tie the game, or D2. He's going to go for it. He's looking at the near sideline. Caught! Touchdown! D2
Touchdown. Oh my goodness.
On the reception.
Number 3, Mike Rodriguez.
The tight end out of Tusculum. And that makes it a 1-point game, 27-28. What a fantastic contest we have been privy enough to see here this evening.
But JT, don't get too ahead of yourself here. This is not over. We've already had a field goal blocked. And like I said, if it comes down to a field goal or an extra point attempt, you know, I've worried about Division II's special team ability, especially on the field goal attempts. So we'll see what happens. But
what a catch down there on the goal line, able to get a foot into the end zone and
huge.
extend the ball out over.
It actually doesn't matter, JT. His foot doesn't matter. It's the ball.
Yeah, he got his ball
down. As he
down.
was falling backwards, he reached the ball across the goal line. Fantastic play. That's the ultimate awareness of knowing where you are on the field.
And they're going to make it. This is what I love about it. They're going to either win it or they're going to lose it right here.
They're
going for two. This is a huge, huge play, and I absolutely love the fact that they're not going to tie this up to try an overtime.
Do you go to Rashad Slowey here?
No, you go to what got you here, and that is the arm of Kevin Lynch, and let him decide what his best option is out in this pass pattern. Kevin Lynch has been absolutely money on long throws, short throws. He's been pinpoint accurate. Kevin Lynch trying to get everybody lined up. Now we're going to have a timeout. This timeout will be taken by NAIA, and since there is no play clock here, they weren't going to run out of time or anything like that. This will be an NAIA timeout. That just does not roll off my tongue. Here we go again. Let's listen into the huddle.
This is your nation. Listen to me. We're going under cover 1. All right, that's where we're going to go. All right, the Mike backer, you have to take the tight end. All right, if the tight end is detached, let the wheel backer come across and take the tight end, and you stay in the box. All right, for the back.
Run first.
All right,
run first.
Safety in the free. All right, be a ball player. Make your decision right now and go to wherever you're gonna go. All right,
And watch the pitch.
Be better. Stay outside. Stay outside,
Hey,
guys.
watch that pivot out.
Take that back. Hey, if they do play action, all right, if they do run, all right, I'm expecting D-line to get out. Hey, D-line, tackles, y'all go ahead and go inside, all right? Take the inside, all right?
Hey, linebackers, we run first.
Hey, if they run that run, bro, I'm going to cut it. Hey,
Now you heard him right there, Gideon. He's telling his safety to pick his assignment and just go with it. You know, and it's going to come down to somebody in the secondary making a play here. You pretty much expect it. If it isn't happening at the point of contact for the defense, you're going to depend on that linebacker or the safety to either stop the run or break up one of these passes.
Absolutely. And I believe it starts off with the defensive line. If they can get good pressure on the quarterback and force him into a bad throw or something like that. But like you said, it's the safety or the linebacker this time, and this is do or die right here, JT. This is the game.
Well, let's catch the call under center. Kevin Lynch. Fake handoff, looking to the left. He's being pressured. He throws it out of left flat. It's caught by D2. Mike Rodriguez again with the reception, and the 2-point conversion makes it a 1-point lead now for the home team. Makes it 29-28. And you talk about stunned players over on the D2 sideline when a 14-point was taken. Look at the NAIA bench right now, who is absolutely befuddled and beside themselves.
Wow, JT, that's the only thing I can say, because in the second quarter, early third quarter, it was 28-14, and you could look over at the other sideline and look at the D2 players, and they just looked down. They looked out, but they have stormed back, and they have taken this lead.
And look how excited we saw the offensive line, everybody on that D2 side. These guys have worked hard all week long. They've worked hard their whole career just to get here and get this invite. And look, they are all invested in this win here today, and what an excellent play. And you know, Kevin Lynch did exactly what I thought he would do, and that's make the right play. He's been doing it the whole game long. He found his receiver getting out into the flat. He throws it to Rodriguez, gets the 2-point conversion. However, The NAIA has a strong-footed kicker, an opportunity, and two timeouts. Two timeouts with 44.4 seconds remaining. This could go down. Yes, it's the only and the first, but this may inevitably, when it's all said and done, be one of the best games between these two groups that they may see. Here's a return, lowering his head, getting across the 40-yard line, and decent field position for NAIA.
Exactly. And they got a great quarterback. They got a great guy that can move them down the field with two timeouts. 39 seconds left. All they got to do is get about to the 30-yard line to be in field goal range, maybe 35-yard line to give themselves a shot. So, this game is by far not over, but it's going to be tough for the NAIA here, but they still have a chance.
So here we go, first down and 10.
Everyone is
moving
on their
right
feet.
to left. Shotgun, twins to the right. Comes down to this final drive with two timeouts. Back to pass. Chris Ware is being pressured, steps up, avoids the pressure, tries to get out to the right, and he's wrapped up and pulled down. They're going to need to call a timeout, and they do.
Number 10 again, JT. We mentioned him earlier on a big sack. Jack Pettillon. So that's going to have to make them burn a timeout. And you got to wonder, JT, why don't you chuck that away? Why do you take the sack? You got to get rid of it. You can't lose the yards, and you can't blow a timeout. You just got to chuck that ball. And that's been Chris Ware's problem all day. He hasn't been able to figure out when to throw the ball away. He's taken way too many hits, and you can't do that, especially with, when you're trying to conserve timeouts, you're trying to get as many yards as you can to get yourself in field goal range. You just cannot afford to take a sack in that position.
Not a gigantic crowd here tonight,
but does this have
absolutely
a feeling?
Boisterous crowd.
Yeah, does this have a feeling of an all-star game to you? It doesn't to me, because this is like a state championship.
This is a competition. There definitely are invested emotions, time, money, thought, spiritual energy, physical energy that has been produced for this matchup, and they're definitely invested, and you can hear the crowd. You can feel the crowd's excitement. You can see the excitement on the sidelines, and regardless of who wins this game, I don't believe there's a loser here today.
Absolutely not. And like you said, it's the first game ever. This might be the best game that they ever have. Yep. I mean, wow, this has been impressive.
Well, comes down to the next couple of plays. 29.5 seconds remain in the final period of action. 29-28, D2 with the lead. 29.5 to go. One timeout, second down and 13. Ware, low snap, picks it up. Being pressured again, has to roll, and now he's taken down and slammed to the turf. They have to spin their final timeout. And guess who gets to wrap the game up here? Possibly, but the D2 defensive end, Luke Black, he started this game out calling his number, and he's going to end this game on the second to the last play, possibly, as they are out of timeouts, are the NAIA.
Wow. That's two consecutive sacks, and this is the time where you have to bear down as an offensive line, and as a quarterback, you've got to be able to make a play. And the defensive line and linebackers just getting after the quarterback. Chris Ware had no chance, no time to throw, and that's just a testament to the defensive line of D2.
Well, here's the issue. Third down and 21. Obviously, they're in the last plays of the game, 22 seconds. They've got to get a first down here.
Have to.
So not on this play, but over the next two plays, they have to get a first down and put themselves in a position where they could at least chuck the ball up for grabs into the end zone. And I would think they have to be at least beyond the 50-yard line to come close to that. Maybe the 45, 43-yard line to get a solid, legitimate shot at tossing that ball up into the end zone.
Actually, JT, I would look for something here on the sidelines about 25 yards.
Absolutely.
Get it out of bounds and get a field goal attempt.
But you still get two chances to get a first down. You got to get a first down here. You got plenty of time to get two sideline passes to put yourself in position.
Yep.
And you have 3 or 4 plays at most, Gideon. Period.
Yeah,
you can't let
even if they do get a first down.
Yes, you only have time for about 4 plays.
It's unfortunate because they've lost their 2 timeouts that they preserved the whole half on sacks that, one of them could have been avoided was just tossing the ball away, throwing it out of bounds. But the second one, Chris Ware, there wasn't much he could do. But you just got to know situations. You got to know where you're at in the game. You got to be able to throw the ball away. I know quarterbacks don't really like to do that, but you got to get rid of the ball to conserve the timeout.
Looking for a sideline pass here to stop the clock, and they need to pick up about 11 or 12 yards on an out. Ware under center, sends a man in motion left to right. They're going to do a double reverse and a flea flicker. He's going to throw it. He's got Ware on the far sideline, complete, except they're running out of time. 12 seconds, they have to spike it. 10 seconds, 9. I'm trying to figure out 7 seconds. Why did we hear a whistle? Okay, I thought
they're calling a timeout.
I thought they were out of timeouts. They did. They were out of timeouts, and they stopped the clock anyway. What a mistake by the referees. Quick pass, trying to get out of bounds. You got to get out of bounds. 1 second. And they stopped the clock with... Look, here's the thing. This is going to end in madness and chaos because a mistake was made on the clock. The referees inadvertently stopped the clock. There should not have even been that much time left to make this play. So even if they would have gotten out of bounds and went with the time that was on the clock was not accurate and was at least 3 minutes short. That should be the end of the game. NCAA Division II should walk away with this with a 1-point lead. Let's listen to the referee. And it should be a time runoff just because the coach called a timeout when he didn't have any. That is a penalty.
This is just absolutely crazy, JT. I never imagined a game would end up an all-star game, especially would end up being this competitive, and everyone out in the middle of the field just dying for 1/10 of a second to be put back on the clock.
It is not going to happen. And I would say only half of that field is dying for 1 second to be put back on.
Right. That's very true. But I just never imagined that we'd be put in this situation where, these kids want to win.
They're going to send them back to the sideline. I think they're going to give them 0.1 seconds remaining, and I think that would be a bad mistake. I think that this game should be over right now.
Because the referee called timeout. He pointed to the sideline.
And they stopped the clock for 3 or 4 seconds, and that gave them time to get up to the line of scrimmage and get set. They're going to give them one shot. I think just out of confusion that they're going to give them one shot. I think they're going to try to... We'll try to get a call on this and see if we get an explanation.
This
is bizarre, man.
This is an all-star game to me. This is way bigger than that. These kids want this so bad.
Peter and George St. Lawrence thought of an ultimate ending to this game. They could not have imagined this madness that's occurring right now.
Craziness. I've never seen this in all my years of football.
And they're trying to get the spot right. But Coach Ornstein is trying to tell the ref that they're moving the ball up, and they are. They're getting it respotted.
So they got a field goal shot here, JT. I said if they get inside the 40-yard line, they get a shot inside the 40-yard line. They have a shot because their kicker has a strong leg.
No, they're not going to kick it. They're going to go for the end zone. I don't think you could you even dare to attempt a field goal from this distance. You're talking about a 62-yard field goal. That would be NFL record-breaking type distance. So, boy, goodness, this is a Hail Mary to the end zone with 1.5 seconds remaining. I'm not sure that we completely understand and grasp the magnitude or the levity of this late game situation, and I'm not sure that we completely grasp the decision-making of the referees and how they were going to carry this out. But if nothing else, out of all else fairness, to give them an extra play is probably granted. Here it is. He's going to spike it with 0.5 seconds remaining. Excellent decision to spike it. If they're going to give you 1.5, you might as well get it down and get an extra
But I thought he
deal.
got out of bounds on the last catch when he was at.
I don't think he did. They just reset the sticks. As soon as they cranked it up, he had to get it down and stop the clock. Okay, looks like they're trying to figure out we just got asked for the MVP award. I think they're going to try to figure out who to give it to. At this point, if D2 wins, I think you have to consider Kevin Lynch.
Oh, absolutely.
Either him or Nick McGagan. Here they go.
I told you, JT.
You're right.
I told you.
You're right, baby. Oh, maybe too many players on the field. He's got to get off. Okay, folks, this is going to be a 56-yard field goal. The kick is up and nowhere near good, and that's going to end it. D2 has finally done it. They're going to do offsides. Are they calling an offsides penalty? I don't know. I can't. It looked like we got a call from the ref that was offsides, but no. I think the madness, the confusion is finally over, and D2 is victorious after a crazy game, and even crazier ending to this. I'm not sure how we kept it straight through all the melee, but it is a final. 29-28. D2 squeaks one out. Gideon NAIA misses a field goal. Takes 3 off the board. However, D2 pretty much gave NAIA 14 points in this game.
Huge. And that's just, like you said, JT, turnovers and special teams played a huge factor in this game. And that ended up being the outcome. And if they would have made that field goal, who knows what might have happened. And all that's just
two
so many
things. Is I guarantee you the NAIA just earned a boatload of respect out here from these players who may not have had it for these guys coming into this.
I completely agree. And like we mentioned in the very beginning of the broadcast, NAIA wanted to come out and really show the D2 players and coaches and everyone that they were worthy of being on the field with these D2 players, and the D2 players wanted to prove that the NAIA players, we got some players here celebrating.
And what we ought to do, Gideon, is we're going to turn it over to the audio on the field and listen to this.
Hey, score don't mean nothing. He had a muscle. Let's believe it. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Texas, baby. Huh? You told me one of them. Right? Right? First of all, everyone of you honored the game of football. You played it with your hearts, and you played the game that's supposed to be played. Fellas, the last count, there were over 20,000 people. 1,000 people watching this game. Okay? I am not kidding. You have set a mark for this game and for these two divisions of football. And I'm going to tell you something. There should be no surprise in the NFL when a guy from the NAIA or the D2 makes it. I'm telling you, I'm honored. I'm honored to know every one of you. I'll never forget you. All right? The camaraderie that we have from this game, I hope you take as a memory forever. All right? Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn it over to Coach Saint. He's got a couple words he wants to say. Coach?
I just want to say thank you for one of the greatest football games I've ever seen in my life. Some of the greatest players I've ever seen, some of the greatest plays I've ever seen. Guys diving in the end zone, hitting the pylon, huge hits. We've never had a game this exciting and this competitive in our, 4 games so far?
All the talent, Coach. All the talent. That's what brings it out.
Credit to you guys, your schools, your coaches, your family, your parents. They must be proud of you, because I know I am. I will never forget this game. I'll never forget this day. And I pray to the big man above, and I don't think that you guys will forget it too. Thank you so much for this, guys.
Don't. Remember what I said at the banquet. Okay? This has got to ring true now. Okay? Somebody's going to win the game. But nobody out here is going to be a loser. All right? Now I want the players to give it up for the coaches who gave them their time and effort, who believed in you and us in this game. We have an MVP award. Do we have the selection from up top yet?
22. We do. White, still camp, baby.
Hey, Harry should get Cooper on here, man.
Johnny Elway. Elway.
This is the first Drones brand MVP of the D2 NAIA Classic, as voted on by the media, and I want to congratulate Kevin Lynch. One more thing, okay? One more thing. I'm going to ask your coaches to get with me and stuff. One more Just leave me the pants. He goes as we go. So we'll throw them in a pile. The jerseys are yours to keep. Just leave me the pants. The next thing I want to get the D2 over here for a team picture with all the coaches. I want to get the NAI over here with the team picture with all the coaches, okay? So I can have that, send it out to you guys, and you'll have those memories, okay?
Let's do it right now.
Well, there you had it, Gideon. They handed the MVP award to Kevin Lynch, and we're going to try to acquire an interview with him. So until then, we're going to take our final timeout and pay homage to our sponsors. We'll be back with our final interview of the night and wrap things up here from Middletown, New York, back after this. Welcome back. John Thomas here, Amateur Sports Network. Glad to have you along. We appreciate you being with us here tonight. We're working on an interview right now to get the MVP to come up with us and have a conversation. So that should be momentarily as we await Kevin Lynch, the 2011 NAIA D2 Senior Classic MVP, as we're going to try to get him up here in the booth so we can have a chat with him and ask him his thoughts about the game. But again, a 29-28 final, Division II. Comes back in the final moments to take the lead and goes for it on a 2-point conversion to take the lead, and then they went in on a crazy ending, just a bizarre set of circumstances that ended this game. Absolutely unexpected. A lot of confusion on the field as to how much time was remaining and what exactly the scenario was, and who may be responsible or who may have the opportunity to have the last play. But inevitably the NAIA got an opportunity. They were able to actually get a playoff and spike the ball, and then they had a chance to kick a very long field goal, but it came up short. So actually I think I see him making his way on up to the studio right now, and this will be our opportunity to talk with Kevin Lynch as he comes in. Let me try to get him set up, get that on you, get this in your mouth. There we go. And welcome to the booth, Kevin. How are you tonight?
Pretty good after a pretty cool ending there.
Well, that was a pretty wild gig, wasn't it? Come on back here by me. Stand back here, and we'll be able to get you on the internet. But man, what a crazy ending to what was an absolutely crazy game. And your team has to be absolutely happy and thrilled with the results of this game here tonight.
Yeah, it was a, we were down a couple points. I don't know how many we were down, but we realized once the defense kind of forced that turnover, I think in the middle of the third quarter, I think we gained some momentum from there. And then, the receivers on the outside made some great plays for me. And then really the line did a great job blocking the guys up front.
What happened to your trophy, man? Was it too heavy to carry up here after such a tough game?
I actually left it down with my girlfriend.
Well,
I apologize.
If you're going to leave it in good hands, you might as well leave it with her. But, I would kind of assume that maybe over the next couple of years that trophy might get a little bit bigger, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm sure as the years go on, the game will get a little bit, it'll grow. It was a great time out there, honestly. We only had a couple days to prepare, but really playing with these guys, we came together in the 3 days that we were out here. And it was a great game. It was a great finish.
We were able to talk to a lot of the organizers of this event, and they clearly made it a statement over and over that there was short notice. There was very little time for you guys to prepare and get your offenses together. But I think as far as the D2 level goes, you guys struggled a little bit early, but you finally got together. You found your rhythm. What was it that really allowed you to find that momentum and start to get something going?
I think, early on, just trying with the plays, it's all really all the same stuff that we ran, I'm sure, and, individuals ran in college, but it's just the terminology was different. So it's kind of like, when we call a play, it's, what are we running? But I think at the end of the game, it was time was of the essence, and we really were just kind of out there playing. And I think that's when we made some plays down the goal line. And, fortunately, that timeout that the NAIA called really helped us in the 2-point conversion because we didn't really know what we were doing. That gave us time to drop a play and execute it.
Now, you spent a lot of your time trying to figure out what the NAIA was doing defensively. I know they weren't able to put a lot of complicated blitz packages in, but they did a really good job at the beginning of the game. Talk a little bit about their defense and how you had to approach that and what you saw.
They were, I think they were playing a little bit of cover 2 and cover 8 and cover 3. They did a really good job of kind of mixing it up. But like I said, in the second half, I think we just kind of went out there and played. We were down a couple touchdowns, and we just kind of went out and made plays.
Well, I don't know if you've been filled in on your stats for the game or anything, but looking at everything, it looks like you were 23 of 34 for 270 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. But are these the kind of stat lines you're used to seeing for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, college, I had, playing with Rashad. He's a great running back, and we were on the same page on a couple of those plays on the checkdowns, but. I didn't really expect the game to go like this. I thought we would win, but to finish like that is a great experience.
Maybe earlier in the game we might have thought, hey, this is just going to be some kind of exhibition game where it's these all-stars and these all-stars. But as the game got going, boy, the emotions really started to come to the top, and by the end of the game, there was no doubt about it. Your team wanted to win a game, and so did the NAIA. Talk a little bit about that camaraderie, how that came about, and just how the game started to evolve, and then it turned into where, hey guys, we got to win this.
I think we're all out here because we want it to be, and we all are competing. And at the end of the game, like you said, it just turns into a football game, and it is an exhibition, it is an all-star game, but really when it comes down to it, we want to win. If you're a competitive guy like I am myself. I wanted to win the game, and everyone else on our sideline did. That's why you could see us. I think we had our whole team out there at the end of the game trying to figure out what was going on because, we wanted to win that game, and fortunately we did.
The last drive of the game that you guys had the ball, a couple of handoffs, time's ticking down. Yep. Maybe there's a little bit of indecision. Hey, what are these guys running the ball for? But previously to that, you moved the ball. Your offensive team was able to go downfield and score on your previous offensive possession and get that out of the way. Was there any rush? Did it feel like there was any pressure to get downfield on that last drive, or were you guys confident the whole time?
I think we realized, because we had burned a couple timeouts on the in the goal line there. We only had 1 timeout, so I think we realized that it was going to be our final drive. And fortunately, we were able to pick up a first down because in a situation like that, I think that picking up that first down is tough. And once you get that, the pressure's off.